All right, so going against the affirmative, the Cuban economy is still limited and it has a very small private sector. So the Cuban government puts restraints on the private sector, which forms the largest portions of its strong economic sector, and it faces a lot of challenges, including the lack of needed inputs. According to the U.S. law, Cuba must legalize all political activity, release all political prisoners, commit to free and fair elections in the transitions to democracy, grant freedom, and respect the human rights. So since Cuba has not met these conditions, they should not be lifted. And then there are laws and barriers that is known as an embargo, and this is why the U.S. government has laws put in that limited to aid it leads to Cuba. The Cuban private sector is slowly declining and it faces a lot of challenges, including the lack of input, and the U.S. government also lacks enough information regarding the size and potential of the Cuban private sector. And this would therefore mean that the U.S. government should lift barriers against helping Cuba, where it would be able to trade internationally. And then another quote, so the freedom of expression and the right to assemble are severely restricted by the government, and this was in 1996 by the Helms-Burton Act, which stated that the United States has moral obligations to promote human rights in keeping the Charter of the United Nations and the human rights. Thank you.